any bit of the news. Quebec has the most strict rules in play in all of Canada right now to curb this coronavirus. They also have the highest number of outbreaks in the entire country, but, whatever. So they put a lot of harsh stuff into place. And as with anything, when you have new rules being brought into...
Sorry,
yes?
you finish your sentence.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say they're also very populated, and their population is very densely compacted into parts of that province. So,
absolutely right.
The fact that their numbers are higher than everywhere else, it's because there's more people. It's not actually that much worse there.
No, it's because they're idiots and they're French and they deserve to die. Just saying. And I stand by that. Go fuck yourselves. Fuck you, Quebec.
I don't agree with him. Neither does the show.
Don't care. So there was this woman in Montreal. It was her birthday. And, initially she was hoping to have some people over, a bunch of her friends and everything else to come over. But, of course, with the virus and everything else.
I did hear this story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this is pretty crazy because what had happened was, unbeknownst to her, she had no idea this was actually going to happen. But a whole bunch of her friends ended up driving up her street and wished her a happy birthday from their cars. So they all stayed in their cars. They all parked a couple of meters away from each other. So everything was done to basic law of what they're asking for. They had a couple of little cardboard sign things saying happy birthday. They sang happy birthday through the windows, and that was it. No, the lady stayed in her house behind her glass door. And she videotaped the whole thing. And that was all it was. People honking their horns. That was all it was. Not a big deal, just a really, 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 really nice gesture. 10 minutes after everybody left, the cops show up and they told her that that the police promises to issue a $1,546 fine for not following the laws of the social distancing in place right now.
Well, she didn't know that they were doing that, so it's not. She didn't do it. She doesn't get the fine.
She did nothing wrong, but they've handed her the fine, and she on her phone, because she still had her phone in her hand. She's like, "I have it on video. You can see where it was." Cop says, "Nope, don't want to see it. Don't care. There is a complaint, therefore that's it. You're fined." It's just that fast.
Well, that's fine. You go to court and you contest the fine. You can contest any fine you get. I contest every single one I've ever gotten, just because you can.
It will be interesting if and when she can contest this into court, though.
No,
that's
she can.
The interesting thing I'm wondering.
You can contest any fine. You can appeal any fine you get until it goes to the Supreme Court of Canada. Any fine, ever. That is your right as a Canadian.
So I guess it's just a matter of whenever courts open, everything gets rescheduled, whatever, then it's just a matter of making her time to get into court to fight it.
Exactly. It takes a long-ass time. The last one I did, it was 9 months or something before I got a court date.
Jesus Christ.
And that's for my protest, because I drink in public on purpose to protest 420. And I got an open alcohol fine last year.
Yeah. The actual reason for the fine, I actually have it right here. Here's roughly 10 minutes after the brief serenade, Montreal police came knocking on our door, told her that she should expect a $1,546 fine by mail in the next few days. The reason? Troubling the peace and disregarding social distancing.
Wait, you said she wasn't aware, though, so it's not her fault. So go appeal the ticket.
No. Oh, fully. I fully agree with you.
If the cars had... now, you're not supposed to be in a car with people, so if the cars had more than 2 people in them, then you're fucked. Your friends have to pay the fine.
They are fucked, not her.
Yeah, exactly.
But why is she getting the ticket? I mean, that's what makes no sense. She says that they also threatened her with 6 months to 1 year in prison if they had to intervene in her home again.
Well, I would say don't have them intervene in your home again.
Yeah, right?
There's my advice.
Call your friend to say, don't fucking wish me anything anymore.
Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter, really. Just don't fucking do it. If whatever they say in your area, wherever you are, whatever they tell you to do, just fucking do it and get this shit over with. It doesn't matter what's right and what's wrong anymore. They don't give a fuck. And really, you shouldn't either. Just do what you're told and let's get this over with and move on. I want to go to the beach this summer.
Yeah, agreed.
Don't want this shit
apparently in Quebec, they also...
And if you get a fine, contest it. Every fine, always say you're contesting it. Always. It's free.
Yeah.
And nothing. There's no repercussion. You just, if you lose the case, then you pay the fine. Or you challenge it to a higher court. Like, you can take it as far as you want.
Yes, that's very true. Yeah.
So always do that. Every traffic ticket, everything you get. This is not to you, Gordon. It's to everybody. Every traffic ticket, everything you get, bog down the courts with it.
Unless if you're blatantly guilty of it.
No, even if you're blatantly guilty, all the judge is going to say is, you are obviously blatantly guilty of this. And you go, well, I tried. Because half the time the cop can't get the time off work to show up in court anyway, the guy who issued the fine. And if the guy who issued the fine doesn't show up, you automatically win and it gets tossed out.
Yeah, it's true.
So you got a 50-50 chance of the cop showing up. Which usually he's probably not going to bother. Plus, if everyone who ever gets a traffic fine bogs down the courts with this shit, or any kind of fine, eventually the government's going to go, hey, cops, stop handing out so many fucking fines. And then they will.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's true.
The same way you crash a website. You can crash anything. You just have to do it with real people.
The exception to that rule seems to be photo radar, and I can attest to this directly because I got nailed by a faulty photo radar machine.
Yes, you did.
And I fought that in court, and I'm like, I wasn't there. I had the text on my phone to prove of me saying I'll be leaving Milton, and it was an hour and a half after it said that this photo was being taken in the opposite direction. And so it just made no sense. And I still had to pay the full amount, which was like $290. And the only way to prove it was to get the maintenance records from the city, which you're not allowed to have.
Why not? If they're by the city, they've got to be under Freedom of Information.
Apparently, maintenance records are not public information. Apparently. You might be able to get lucky to get a form of a work order of somebody ordering somebody to go in to say something has to be done, but you cannot actually get a hold of the actual work records to prove that the thing was faulty.
Anything that a government writes down is ours. It's
supposed to be public.
It's all public. So I don't care if it's maintenance records. I don't care what it is. It's all it's all public. It's all freedom of information. The fucking Canadian government is the best at telling you it isn't and making it difficult to get, but it fucking is. And don't let them trick you into that shit.
Oh, I couldn't get it.
The problem for guys like me and you, and this transposes kind of to everybody to a certain degree, is to do a lot of what I say costs a tremendous amount of money, and you end up very, very broke and homeless in Vancouver doing a podcast that makes no sense because you're homeless. Challenge, but you need a good lawyer to get freedom. Like, government officials have hard times getting freedom of information out of fucking Justin Trudeau. Like, they don't fulfill even for themselves, they don't do it. Like, they make it very, very difficult, and they block off people so you can't get at it. And guys like me and you can't afford the lawyers it takes to fight the real battles that we should be fighting. That sucks. So if you want to pursue it, you can end up living with your mom in Lake Country when you're 41 fucking years old. But at least you took a stand. That's you end up like
sure.
You end up like me,
I get it.
or you just fucking toe the line like everybody else. And that's cool. Like, I'm not saying end up like me. I'm just saying, if you have a good lawyer, do it that way. That would be much more ideal. But then again, if everybody did it my way, things would change.
Oh, that's very true.
Well, not even everybody, just 51%. That's all we need. 50% plus it. 1, actually.
That's just...
So, sorry, Quebec lady. Sorry. Or, I mean, how do you
Quebec lady.
I don't remember how you apologize. Whatever. Excusez-moi.
Voulez-vous que veille avec moi? I don't know. Over the weekend, officers doled out nearly 70 fines worth $1,546 to people disregarding social distancing, including a group of teenagers that were playing fucking soccer.
Yeah, see, that part I still don't get. Outside physical activity should be good. You're maintaining your health, and you're outside. That should all be good. But I don't get the stopping people from being...
In order to get the ball from the guy, you have to be up right beside him, and that's not social distancing.
True.
Apparently.
I think it's stupid. For young people should be out exercising at least once a day. Even fucking prisoners get an hour a day.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in solitary confinement, in total lockdown, they still give you an hour a day to fucking exercise. Like, use your heads when you're social distancing. Let your kids out in the yard to exercise. And cops shouldn't be fucking idiots about it either.
See, but that's the problem, though. The cops are going to be. You're going to be hard-pressed finding a good set of fucking cops that are going to show up and be like, hey, guys, seriously, just go home.
That's because cops are hunks of shit. Look at the people who become cops.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're all fucking 26 years old jocks who used to beat us up in high school, but they can't work at their dad's car dealership anymore, so they got to find something. They thought, they were going to be selling 5-liter Mustangs their whole life and everything was going to be great. And then that just changed, so what do we do now? I don't know. I can't get a real job. I can't qualify for fucking university. What am I going to... I'll be a cop.
How can I get even? I know.
It's those guys or it's the guys who used to blow up their G.I. Joes and you'd come over to their house and they just had a bunch of shredded toys. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? They're strapping fireworks to all their shit, blowing it up. Those guys are like, I'm going to get a job where I get a gun.
We're speaking of gun, by the way, gun sales are skyrocketing in the U.S. since they've made it.
Well, yeah, because crime is going to go up.
Yeah,
I predicted that a month ago. Just wait. Crime is a coming.
It's very true. It's going to be brutal when it hits.
Especially since I just heard news sources yesterday. All the news sources I paid attention to were finally reporting the story that me and Gord reported on about the Van Gogh being stolen from the museum. The regular news is finally getting around to that story.
Just getting that?
So people are going to be like, oh shit, why didn't I think of that? Everything's closed. I should be robbing it right now. It's going to catch on real quick now.
There you go.
So yeah, I can see gun sales being way up.
Yeah, they are definitely going right up. I don't have it in Canada's for this one, but I do have it in the U.S. I'm kind of surprised by this. Uber Eats has released their most common or most popular items that are being delivered since the pandemic has broken out. And do you want to guess what the two most popular items are?
Vodka and condoms.
No, we're talking straight food. Straight food.
Oh.
As in ordering from restaurants. So you're ordering from restaurants.
I'm going with fried chicken and Yoo-hoo.
Fucking Fucking you. No. French fries and miso soup.